AITA for getting an entire table for myself after my husband and his mom didn't save me a seat? I'll start this off by saying that I, F32, have been with my husband Bob, M39 for 3 years, married for 1. His mom has a habit of keeping me out of most of their functions with the excuse of you work too much . Not true, because sometimes I do make myself available but yet find myself excluded. Last week, his mom invited us for a celebratory dinner at the restaurant after she completed her recovery. I had to with that day, but I let her and everyone know that I'd be there at 8 p.m. Bob obviously knew I was coming. Thing is, when I arrived to the restaurant I saw that the table was full. All chairs had been taken and I just stood there with complete puzzlement while Bob and his mom just stared at me. His mom then told me there was no place left for me and that I could either have Bob get up and take his seat or go home. I was so upset, but instead of going home I just went and took an entire table for me. Bob and his mom watched with their eyes popping out of their heads like they saw something so shocking. I did get weird looks from the guests, but so did Bob and his mom. It was awkward in all honesty. I had my dinner, dessert, then went home. I saw Bob and his mom staring grudgingly while I was making my way out. He got home an hour later and yelled saying I embarrassed his mom in front of her guests. I yelled asking WTF was I supposed to do after I got denied a seat, and he told me that it wasn't his nor his mom's fault. Guests arrived and before me and took all the available chairs. I told him he could have saved me a chair. He said that I could have just left instead, and reminded me that I was a guest and that I shouldn't expect this level of entitlement to be accepted . He then went on about how I ruined the entire dinner for him and his mom with what I did and has been pouting about it for days now. I don't get it, I really don't. Was my expectation really that entitled? I mean, as his wife he should have saved me a seat. But clearly I'm missing something here. NTA. Op. Is this level of disrespect really what you want for the next 20 years? NTA. They could have booked a table with the appropriate seating. They could have pulled up a chair and budged up if a random extra guest turned up. They could have split the table into 2. They could have texted you before you got there and said, "There's an issue with the table." Why are you married to someone who would literally sit there staring at you instead of do something to help and then blame the situation on you? I don't understand why you would be with someone who clearly doesn't view you as family. Him being your husband is pretty bad. Not sure if it's always been like this. But wow, that's a horrible way to treat you. The family argument is what bothers me. He actually thinks it's the other way around. That I don't consider his family mine only because I don't try hard enough to be around them. And why would you, if they treat you like that?